Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain speaking, and welcome aboard Delta Virtual Airlines Flight DL1341 from Atlanta to Greenville. Today we're flying the PMDG 737-800 in the flight simulator P3Dv4.2. Now, you noticed that I've switched the flight simulator once again, and I think this is the last switch because I got pretty tired of X-Plane 11's crashes and all the errors happening, all the problems. I've never had a problem with P3D as so far yet, and I didn't have to do nearly as much as tweaking to get the FPS I'm getting now. So let's hop onto the flight deck and get this flight underway. So we're already powered on. The FMC has been programmed, so we're going to be skipping over that. We still have to enter the performance data, but before we do that, let us do the cockpit preparation checklist. We're going to go to the overhead panel. Yaw damper is on. The fuel pumps, we're going to turn on the left forward fuel pump for the APU. The ground power switch is off. Engine generator switches 1 and 2 are off. Verify. The APU gen switches 1 and 2 are on. Verify. APU, okay, that's good. Window heat is on. Probe heat left and right are off. The wing and engine NTIs are off. Electronic hydraulic pumps 1 and 2 are off. Engine hydraulic pumps 1 and 2 are on. Trim air is on. Temperature control knobs are set to auto and are as desired. The recirc fans are set to auto. Pack control switch is set to auto or high. Check. Isolation valve is set to open. Check. Engine bleed switches 1 and 2 are on, and APU bleed switch 1 is on. Pressurization panel is set. It is not set. It is now set. ATIS information is obtained. The FMC is programmed. Let us set up our AFDS panel here, or MCP panel. So today's cruising altitude will be no more than 13,000 feet, and we have to get the performance data. Being reserves at 2, cost index of 50, and we're doing flight level 130 on the cruise. And when limit, we'll take a 24 kd rate on the normal climb, flaps 5 for today, and center of gravity 17.1, trim set to 6. It's good. We have relatively low V speeds today, which is nice. Climb is good, cruise is good, and descent is good. Flight plan is alright, and we're ready to begin with the next phase. So actually, let's go back to our performance data. We're doing, and when limit takeoff, we're doing 145 for V2. Cool. Flight instruments are checked, no flags. Actually, our altimeter is set. The wrong indication is 3027. Warning annunciations checked. Auto brakes set to RTO. Stabilizer trim, transponder, and T's cast. We're not going to test that. Comm and audio panel are set. The aileron rotor trim is set to 0. Taxi and takeoff briefing is done. Now, before start checklist, we're going to make sure all our doors are closed. Okay, cabin doors are closed, and let's close the cargo doors. Seatbelt signs on. External power and air disconnected. Aft and forward fuel pumps and central pure fuel pumps as desired. We have fuel in the center fuel tank today, so we'll turn those on as well. Electronic hydraulic pumps 1 and 2 on. Anti-collision lights on. Engine start. Just before we begin, we will call for pushback.
Ground cockpit.
Make sure that parking brake is engaged.
We're all set to go up here. We've been cleared to push and start at your discretion.
Roger that, ready for push. Power and air are clear, doors closed. We are ready for pushback. Please parking brake, please.
Parking brake. So, pack control switches 1 and 2 are off. Engine 2. Let's wait for his clearance.
brakes off. Here we go.
Engine start selector ground. Engine 2 start.
Push is complete. Set parking brake, please.
Alright, brakes are set and pressure's normal.
Okay, sir. Tow bar is off. Pin is out. Watch the pin on the right.
Alright guys, thanks. You're cleared to disconnect. We will
Engine
be
1
watching
start.
for the pin and the release from guidance on the right side of the airplane, and we'll see you guys next time through.
Roger that. Have a good flight.
There's 20. And we're just going to wait for engine number 1 to catch up. There she is. Engine generators 1 and 2 on. APU bleed switches 1 and 2 are off. Pack control switches set to auto. Isolation valve set to auto. Probe heat left and right on. Wing and engine anti-ice none required at the moment. APU generator switch is off. Engine start selectors are off. Flaps. We're doing flaps 5 for takeoff. That's 3 notches. There's flaps 5. Auto throttle is armed. Flight controls. My mistake. Flight controls. Full left, full right, full up, full down, full rudder left, and full rudder right. Taxi light coming on, and runway turn off lights up as needed. We are good to go and start our taxi. So it looks like we're gonna maybe be pulling over to the left. Yep, we'll do an about turn here and follow that taxiway all the way down to our departure runway. Good to go. Parking brake released. So I just wanted to take this moment now to apologize for my absence on YouTube. It's been quite a busy start of the new semester, so I'm trying to focus all my efforts on school, and there just wasn't enough time for the past few weeks to start recording again. I apologize for that, especially with all the problems that X-Plane 11 was giving me. This wasn't enough time. Hopefully we'll be back on the regular schedule now, possibly doing weekend uploads, maybe weekdays as well if I'm lucky. If not, oh well. You know, something I do miss from X-Plane 11 though is the airport scenery. The airport scenery is absolutely marvelous. High definition building textures and everything, and just made it a joy to look around. But one of the things I miss the most is my little map at the airports. I used to use that. I used to use the airport navigator add-on, I think it was, and that would allow me to see where my airplane is and where the runways are situated that I have to take off on. Now I don't have it here. I'm basically just looking off my secondary display here next to the primary flight display. That's usually how I get my bearings here. So today we're going to be doing a nice and easy flight, nothing too extreme. I don't anticipate any failures on the way there. Should be some okay weather on the way out. Weather right now doesn't look to be too good, but it could be better. Could be better. Another thing I miss with X-Plane 11 is the free weather, the free live weather. On P3D, I know you have to buy Active Sky Next, which gives you weather, and there's also another freeware plugin or freeware add-on called FSWX or something like that. And I tried installing that, but for some reason I think it corrupted my P3D install. Either I did something wrong or it just I don't know. I think I'd like to go with something a little bit more official, and so I'm going to start saving up money for Active Sky Next, which wouldn't be too bad of an idea. Drone running cloud textures right now are provided by Envtex or Envtex. Not sure how you pronounce it, but I'm actually happy with this investment because airports look really good, that's for sure. At least the tarmacs do. Alright, so engine start selector set to continuous. Landing lights on. And strobe lights already on. Let's turn off those taxi lights. And transponder mode set to TARA. Here we go. There's 50, and let's hit Tolga. Rotate.
V2.
Positive grade, gear up. Flaps 2. Flaps 1. And let us get our autopilot going here. Flight director is on, LNAV and VNAV, and CMDA. Landing gears up, flaps are up, auto brake is off, landing gear set to off, engine start selectors set to off, and now we have to wait for 10,000 feet. And flaps up all the way. You know something I must do here? I'm gonna turn up the effects on this. It's very little motion effects. There we go. That's a lot nicer. And we'll keep that like that. We'll save. Okay, it's saved. It's all good. Here's 10,000 feet. Landing lights off. Seatbelt signs. We're going to keep them on just a little bit longer. We're almost at our cruising altitude. And we won't be needing to change our transition altitude for today. So. And you know what I forgot to do? Forgot to start the flight on Delta Virtual Air cars. 8 cars. That sucks. That's alright though. It's no bother. We have another leg to fly after this one from, I think it was Atlanta to Jacksonville. So I guess we'll find the flight from here to somewhere else. From Greenville. Alright, passenger seatbelt signs are coming off. And that's that. So, I'll see you guys back when we start the descent. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're just about to come upon our top of descent. We have programmed runway 04 for a landing today because of the direction of the wind. Currently at 355 degrees, pretty close to 360, pretty close to 04. At the moment we're still 13,000 feet. We're starting our decel now to 300 knots. Here we come upon the top of the descent. Earlier in the flight I had to turn the seatbelt signs back on because of the turbulence. So we don't have to worry about those at the moment. Descent checklist FMC. That's verified. The approach. Arrival on ORBX S1 for runway 04, no transition. Verified. Starting descent now. Flight instruments are set. Let's actually get the ILS frequency for the runway. So 109.3. It was 109.3. Transition altitude is set, QNH. Wing and engine NTIs are off. They're not needed at the time. Auto brake, we're going to do auto brake of 2. Landing data, let's get the VREF in the minimums. So we're doing 40 at 137. And minimums, we'll just say 200 on the radio altimeter. Okay, landing data, VREF and minimums are complete, and approach briefing, we have done it before already. Landing lights are on, speed brakes are armed at the moment. We'll have to arm them manually later on. Altimeters are set, and let's set the engine start selectors to continuous in preparation for landing. Okay, we can pull back the spoilers at this time. Our speedometer seems to be glitching out a little bit there. It's jumping for some reason. I think it might be the wind. The wind is pretty unpredictable. Okay, I'm going to be taking speed into my own hands at this time. I'm going to take 230 on... Actually, we'll do 220. So is that a route discontinuity going on here? I think so. We're supposed to be going to Oksabi. Yes, I think we have a route discontinuity. Oksabi and then Mold. No discontinuity here or there. Okay, that's kind of weird. Let's just see what happens. We should be fine, but worst case scenario, I'll just tell it direct to Mold. Put some more speed brake in here. A little bit below the glide slope. Autopilot is doing a little bit of a weird job here. I'm not sure what it's trying to figure out. guess I notice every time the wind is changing, autopilot's doing that. A little bit of a freak out there. We'll relieve a VNAV of duty, and we'll do a manual descent. So by mold, we have to be down to 2300. Let's arrange that just in case we have to divert direct to mold. And let's decrease that vertical speed just a little bit. Taking speed down to 200. Okay, at this point, I'm going to take the VOR lock. Actually, we'll wait a little bit on it. I'm going to wait until we get a little bit closer. And now we're going to direct to Oxabi. And we'll take our VNAV right back on there. Or we'll keep the speed. Okay, we can now arm the speed brakes, and before landing checklist is complete. And we'll do flaps 2. Correction, flaps 1. And we'll take the speed down to 180, and we'll take flaps 2 at this time. And we'll take our speed down to 160 at this time. And we'll take flaps 5. And we'll take flaps 10. And we'll take approach hold. And we'll take flaps 15. Take her down to a speed of 140, flaps full.
Radio altimeter.
Alright, buddy, alright. Landing you down. It's a little early, but I don't want to hear that sound all the way down to the runway. And just about to capture the glide slope here. We're now in single channel mode. And here we go. Make sure landing lights are on and landing gear is down, checked, flaps full, speed brakes are armed, and the auto brake is set to 2. We are go for landing. Just get my seat adjusted here. Runway in sight. And we have a headwind, which is perfect, at 004. And let us disengage the autopilot, as well as auto throttle. Plane is in my control. Flying mainly on trim at this point. Trying to keep that flare right there, just a little bit of a flare.
Approaching minimums.
Landing. Okay. Flaps up. Speed brakes retracted. And landing lights off, taxi lights on, strobe lights off. APU start. Let's slow her down a bit and we'll take the taxiway after this one. Engine start selector set to off. Probe heat left and right. Where are you guys? There they are. And wing and engine anti-ice are off. Auto brakes are off. Speed brakes are down. Flaps are up. Transponder mode set to standby. Let's just turn and then we'll take this. We'll take the transponder mode to standby. Which this already is. Perfect. And let us find our parking spot for today's flight. That wasn't too bad of a flight, I don't think. I terribly apologize, but we're not going to be able to do any replays today, simply because P3D doesn't have a really good playback or replay engine as good as X-Plane does, so I'm going to try and find an add-on that I can use for replays that is better than the one that's built in here. I mean, we can watch the replay here, but I guarantee you it's not going to look good. None of the wing surfaces move, and there will just be no point. There's no runway view either. It's gonna have to be a tower view, and it's gonna be tower view and wing views, and you won't even. There's nothing really special about it. You won't even see anything move. So it'll just be the plane coming in. That's okay. We'll do that anyway. And we'll take a jetway here. I'm gonna try and pull up nice and close to it. I think this is far enough here. Okay, parking brake set. There we go. And let's pause the flight and view the replay. Excellent. And let us unpause. Okay, and let's do the shutdown, and we'll end off our video there. So, shutdown. Parking brake is set. Taxi light is now off. APU bleed generator switches 1 and 2 on. APU bleed switch. It was on the whole time. Engine fuel cut off. Seatbelt signs off, what we call the jetaway. Anti-collision lights off. Position light set to on and steady. And aft forward and fuel center fuel pumps off. Electronic hydraulic pumps 1 and 2 are off. Isolation valve set to open. And flight director is off. Let's insert the chocks. And that concludes our flight. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you very much for joining me on this flight today. I hope you guys enjoyed this flight, and I hope you guys look forward to flying on P3D with me for the rest of our flight sim YouTube career. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one. Fly safe.